So in this session, there'll be a presentation and demonstration on Microsoft Teams for teaching and learning by Hong. Tanya will give you an overview of the Kaltura to Echo migration and a demonstration of how to embed an Echo video in learn.uq. I'll give you an update on the Ultra project, and then there'll be some demonstrations of Ultra functionality. So I'll show you the learning journey functionality and some new functionality for tests, and Nathan will go through the new functionality for groups. Then Tanya will give you an overview of the eLearning support services, and at the end there'll be a dedicated time for questions and answers. And I'll now hand to Hong, who will give a demonstration and presentation on Microsoft Teams for teaching and learning.
Thank you, Elsa, for the introduction. Hi, everyone. My name is Hong Nguyen, one e-learning advisors in the team. So in my session today, I will introduce you briefly about Microsoft Teams for teaching and learning and show you a bit demonstration in a course team, but I wouldn't have a full training workshop on Thursday morning if you would like to join for more details training. So what is Microsoft Teams? As you might have already known, Microsoft Teams is a collaborative communication platform in which the users can use a lot of functionalities such as instant messaging, video conferencing, and collaborate in work through the file sharing. And whenever the Teams users are, they have access to the internet and Teams, so they can work in a hybrid mode, for example. And the use of Microsoft Teams is increasingly becoming very popular in business and government, as well as in education. So the situation at UQ is that in the second semester, students have expanded access to Microsoft 365 suite. So they will have Microsoft Teams, and they have cloud storage via form and other apps in the suite. So now I'm going to show you a few functionality that teacher and student can do in a course team. So this one is a demo site which uses the class template. So as the course coordinator, I would have access to all the channel under the course team's name here, but the student do not have access to this channel. The channel under the main channels down here, the student and staff will have access, and there are two kinds of channel, the open channel or the standard channel where the whole class community will have access, but the private channel here, only specific users who are added to the channel would have access to this private channel. So the first use case of Microsoft Teams is for class discussions or Q&A. For example, if you created a post or a question for the student to discuss following on the lecture in the semester, the student will be able to contribute to the discussions after the class or before the class here. And if you have the Q&A channel designed for the student to ask questions about the different content that they learn throughout the semester, then everybody will be on the same platform, and the question do not have to be repeatedly asked the teachers or the tutors using emails, and the content is viewable for the whole class. And similarly for assignment, where I'm sure that the students often have a lot of different questions. If they do not have a clear instructions, or if the assessment is very complex, students will need to ask a lot of questions. So if you have a channel for Q&A, then it will reduce a lot of communication through emails. And the social channel, it can be a site where the student can contribute content outside the class content, and it might create more the sense of belonging and the community within the class. And the second use case that you can use Teams for your teaching is that the student can collaborate within a group project. For example, if you have the group work in the class, the student can be added into different private group. Just a note that for the private group, you have a limitation of 30 private groups. So if you have a big course, you might need a a number of teams so that you can cater for the number of private group in your teams. And in your project group here, for example, if you can add the student into the project group, the student can have their own private space to collaborate with each other. And the collaboration can be happening through the assessment file here, where they can all contribute to the assessment file. And the third use case is for tutorial group. So if I create the tutorial group here, I can add my tutor as the owner of the channel. And then the owner of the channel can add the student in their tutorial group. And so they can communicate within their tutorial. If you want, you can make the tutorial group as a standard or an open channel so that the whole class can read the information between the different tutorial groups. But it is up to you to choose whether it is an open or a closed private channel for the tutorial. And the tutorial is the fourth use case of Microsoft Teams. Yeah, so thanks, Anari, for the question. Microsoft Teams doesn't allow the responses with the latex question. So the better use would be the Add Discussion Board, where it support for the program language or the latex better in Add Discussion, which I'm sure that you have already known. Yeah, no worries. And now I will show you another channel, another options here. I created a course resources staff only as a private channel and add the whole teaching staff into here. And in this channel, I can create some of the activities before I start the class. For example, this is a very normal post. If I want the student to discuss about the school context, as part of their assignment, so they can have a discussions and respond to this post so that they can use this idea where they contribute here into their assignment. So for example, please make a post about your school context that you are going to work with, and then I can simply post it in here. That is one example where you can make a post. And the other example is that you can create a post in the announcement form. So select the post type down here next to the post and select the announcement. And then I can create a better looking post by using an image that I have on my device. And here I will add the same content. So we make a post, or I can ask them to reply on this post. So this is the channel where I prepare all of my activities. And then when it comes to the real time that I want to post to the student, I can post this one onto the different tutorial group. For example, if I want to do a multi-channel post. This one, I have a lot of courses here. You might not have a lot as myself. This one, I want to post for group 11 and group 12 only. And then I post. And then in the tutorial time, group 11 and group 12 already have 2 activities that they should be doing in their tutorial time. So this is only one example of the learning activity that you can create for the student in their private group. And another example about student communication. Once they have been added to the team, they can chat with each other using the chat functionality here. For example, I might have my colleague Nathan to send me a message. And when I receive a message in the chat here, or when the student reply to the post, I will receive a notification. As you can see that this is called the banner, and I have hidden the message here. So for example, when I share screen, you know that someone sent me a message, but you do not see what is the content of the message. And I can see the message in here. And if any of my students reply to my post, I will receive the notification in the activity. And if you want to manage the notification, because I would imagine that you have several courses, and each of the course you can have up to 100 students or more than that. The setting up here, the setting, you can choose the notification that work best for you. And for all of this, we have the guide, and we will send you after the workshop, so you would have the guides to manage the notification. Thanks. Thanks, Chris and Anari. So this is a very brief demonstration about the teams. And one more here, this is the inside channel where I think that it will get a lot of excitement from the course coordinator. So insights in Microsoft Teams is the learning analytics, and it will show the trends in communications and collaboration. So for this one, I have created a check-in activities in the Reflect, and the Reflect here allow you to create some check-in activities like how do you feel this week, or how do you feel in this course so far. And when you create a Reflect activities, it will be available in general channel, and the students simply select the emoticon and add in 1 or 2 words comment on their feelings. And then as the team owner, you can go to the insights and you can see the trends here. And if I hover the mouse over the name here, I can see the name of the student. And these are the files that I have already shared, and I can see how many people have access to that, and the number of posts, reactions, and the trends of communications here. And if I click onto a specific student here, and then I will see how many communications type that student have contributed in this site. And again, the site here is the channels under the Teams title are not accessible to the student. This is only for the staff. And one more feature is that if the student use Teams, they can create the calendar meeting. This is for all users, but in terms of collaboration among the student group, they can create the calendar in here so that they can communicate and collaborate with each other in their own private group. So that is my brief demo about the different functionality in Teams. If you want to have more details on the functionality of Teams, please join the workshop on Thursday, 11th of July. And now I will hand over to my next speakers, Tanya.
Thank you, Hon, and hello, everyone. You might already heard that the Cultura video platform will be retired by the end of this year. And this retirement was decided as a part of the UQ Technology Master Plan to simplify our video systems. And now it has been completed. So prior to this semester, all videos hosted in Cultura have been moved to Echo Video and relinked to the Blackboard sites. So the Echo Video is now the video platform for embedded videos on all Blackboard courses, as well as the student submissions. And if you can't find any of the videos that you used in previous semesters, please email our wonderful support team on help@elearning.uq.edu.au. And you won't need to worry about your lecture recordings, as there is absolutely no changes to its process, and they've already been hosted by Ecovideo. So migration progress, how's that happen? So the migration has been completed by the vendor. So the content, thousands of videos were copied from Cultura to ICA server based on the video ownership. So from owner to owner. And but sometimes people do leave university, so some content that might lost its owner due to staff leaving have been stored in dedicated space, and same applicable for the students' submission. And so during the re-embedding process, for every video, a separate item with the ICA video embed was created, and the old item with Cultura embed was made unavailable to students. So it was kind of a double up. So Ecovideo is sitting next to the Cultura. And as you could see on my screen right now, how to quickly tell them apart is basically the Ecovideo's got this pink circle and the black square one is for the old Cultura videos. So now you're probably preparing your site to become available for your semester 2 students. You might wish to check your course video content and delete the old Cultura embeds. So just something to keep in mind, if you go into the students preview now, you will see the following screen. So it's kind of an error message. All LTI tools don't work with the student preview as they're not the Blackboard natives. And that's why Ecovideo is showing that error on students preview. But absolutely, there is nothing to worry about. And certainly, please do not delete it. As long as your videos are viewable in the staff view, you shouldn't be concerned. So from this semester, if you need to create a video for your course, you need to use Ecovideo. You probably already have an account. If not, you would need to create one. We just sent in the link in the chat. So you don't need to log in right now. I'm going just to demonstrate a few very simple steps so you know how to embed or link your videos to your Blackboard sites. And I already logged into my Ecovideo account. So once you logged in, your landing page will be library. So to create a video here, you just need to go to the create button and a few options here. You can either choose new browser capture, so it will start recording, or you can simply use your existing videos that you already have saved on your PC, for example, or the cloud space. So in this case, just use upload media. So either you record, I apologize, I must have been not liking it to have that media uploaded. Must have been because I'm sharing the screen. Nevertheless, so either you record or upload your videos. Something to remember, depending on your video size, it might take a bit of time to get it up in your library. The good practice, we recommend you to use to create and group your videos into the collections. So create collection related to your particular course, just simply use the course code as you might see on my screen right now. So you have some collections here. And you can add it by simply clicking any of your existing video, adding to the collection. Now, we also recommend as a good practice to actually add your collaborating staff straight away to your collection. So they already, maybe it's teaching staff, your tutors, or your admin staff. And once, if you upload in your video, and again, depending on its size, it might take a bit of time, but once you've got it going and showing processing, you can actually add that video to your collection, even so it's still going, it's still doing the upload. So you don't need to sit and wait until it's fully up there. So now let's say you have your videos edited, uploaded, for example, like I just did some time ago. And how would you get your video back to your Blackboard site? So we are going to one of the courses, let's say that's one of the courses you want to embed your video. Very, very simple. We recommend you to start with build content and create an item. And then, of course, give it a title. Let's say you want to say to your students that it's week one free tutorial video, for example. Then just give them instructions what you want them to do with this video. Please watch this video prior your tutorial. And what you need to do is simply click on this circle plus button, and out of the options here, select Ecovideo Deep Linking Tool. it will ask you to log in if you're not, which are probably not. And once you are here, it will give you three options. We'll start from bottom up. Either upload content, so that's where your video been recorded somewhere else, sitting on your computer or your Google Drive, and you just need to get it up. So the second option is create content. That's where your video is not recorded yet. You just need to record and have it connected. And because I already have my videos uploaded in my library and my collection, I simply select the option Launch Media Picker. And here it brings the list of all videos that you have in your library. And if you would have a lot, of course, you can just search them here. Or if they, for example, recently been added, they would be at the top. You select the video you need to embed, and then simply click Next button here. And you will see the preview of the video here, and you would follow up with the clicking on Embed button. I'll just going to mention here the second option to get your video to the Blackboard course is to actually post it as a link. And in this case, you will just talk the link here. But we're just going to embed for now, just for the demonstration purposes. And that's why we just click embed. And here we are. Our video is coming in through. And all you need to do here is simply click the submit button. And as anything on Blackboard, it will be going to the very end of the page. You can either leave it here or move as you know up in the page. So here's the instruction that you will get on the on our presentation, but we also have a range of the guides that you will be able to get access to. And as to the student submissions, it's same process. You would just create an assignment submission link. Students would need to click on that submission link and then create their submission. So that this is the screenshot that how this will look like. Students, once they click on submission link, they click on create submission, they will get absolutely same text box. They might need to open up a bit to get the circle plus button. And again, selecting the ECAR linking tool, ECAR video deep linking tool. And again, just click submit after adding their videos. So students' guides have been updated already. So it's a matter of directing students to those guides if they need step-by-step instructions. And the other thing is the sharing videos. Everyone, including students and staff, can upload videos to ECAR Video, but how do they share? So Kaltura had that feature called Media Gallery, but in ECAR, there is no such. So teaching staff need to share with their colleagues by giving them membership through their collections. What I have mentioned to you when I was talking about grouping your videos into collection and get your teaching staff added straight away. And if students need to have access to the other students' videos, let's say for peer reviewing, collaborative work, then teaching staff will need to do a bit of setting up as the only way for them to get their videos shared with other students is going through the ad discussion board that course coordinator would have to set up. So we have been keeping community informed through a number of channels, through all stages of this project, as well as a massive work have been done in creation, staff and students' guides. We have listed them all in this slides, so please visit our guide session and maybe save some of those pages to your favorites if you have lots of video content to deal with. Also, all Kaltura links have been updated and redirected. So if someone previously saved links on video recording, it will get them to the current ones. That's all from me. And I'm now going to pass to Elsa to give you much valuable updates on Ultra project. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tanya. So I'm just going to give you a quick update on Ultra. So the Ultra Activation Project. So what is Ultra? Ultra is an update to Learn.UQ Blackboard, and it is a new, clean and modern look for Learn.UQ courses with enhanced functionality. It's simpler to use with intuitive navigation, and it's also mobile friendly. We have already trialled Ultra. So Ultra was trialled with 6 courses in summer 2023, as well as 50 courses in semester 1. The main deployment, the timeline's to be confirmed, but at the moment it will be for semester 2 in 2025. So that's what we're working on at the moment. If you'd like to have a preview of Ultra courses, there's 2 options. One option is there's an Ultra example course, which I'll show you in a minute, with content already built into it. You can self-enroll in this course as a student, and you can basically explore the course from a student perspective. The other option is you might like to explore the functionality in Ultra as an instructor. If you'd like to do that, you can request a preview site, i.e. a sandbox course. The sandbox courses are on our test environment and there's no access to students, so you can explore that without worrying about student access. And I think Nathan is putting the links to the project page, the self-enroll link for the example course that you can add, as well as how to request a sandbox in chat if you're interested. Just to sort of confirm that the only changes with Ultra are actually to our core tools. So that's our content tools, Blackboard assignments, tests, and Grade Center, which becomes Gradebook. Our third-party tools, which you plug into Blackboard, how you add them in is slightly different, but there's no change to the functionality of the tool. So i.e. Turnitin, H5P, Ed Discussion Board, etc. So that's my quick update on the Ultra project. The next thing I'd like to do is just start demoing some functionality because I'm sure you're all quite excited and interested. The first thing I'm going to demo is learning journey functionality. So it's very easy to structure content into a learning journey with learning modules in Ultra, and the students can basically track their progress. So I'm just going to show you that example course. And this is me enrolled in this course as a student. So this is the example course I just spoke to you about. Just quickly, you have sort of static menus on the left and at the top. You land on the content page where you can see all the content. And if I just quickly go through this menu, you have a calendar link. So that brings all the dates from the course. It also brings through all the dates for the assessment from the gradebook. You can see a list of all the announcements, and if there's a new announcement, when the student opens the course, they'll see the new announcement in a pop-up. All the discussions, which are embedded in different learning modules, so they're in line with the relevant context. They're also listed here in discussions as well. The students can access all their results for their particular course through the gradebook, which is a new name for our Grade Centre. And they can also check what groups they're a member in, and Nathan will talk about that in a minute. So if I just go quickly back to content, the course profile links at the top. This is very similar to our current original courses. There's an assessment folder and a folder for each assessment item and links to submission links in Turnitin, etc. And our standard tools are in course resources, so students can find their lecture recordings and their course reading list, for example. As you can see, we've got learning modules here, and you can see the tracking here. So you can see I've already been into this course as a student. You can see which items I've already started and accessed. If I go into week 1, for example, I get a list of all the content. I might start with the first item. So there's an overview. This is part of the template. I can go to the next page. I think this is an echo video. I think my internet's a bit slow, but I'll keep going. And these are YouTube videos. Again, I think they haven't quite shown because my internet's not liking Zoom as well. As you can see, when I scroll down the page, the navigation stays at the top and I can easily navigate back and forward between pages. So I've got some more information there. And here's the discussion board. So this one was also accessed by, can also be accessed by the discussion tab, and I can make a contribution to the weekly discussion topic here. So I can just add in here. And that's a quick response. And I've got a summary at the end for the week. And I can expand and collapse that. But what you can notice here is for the items that I've actually accessed, and it's sort of you can also see here. For the items that I've actually accessed, you can see there's a little half circle filled in, so I know I've accessed them. I can also mark items that I have completed off. And we got a lot of positive feedback from students that this was really useful. They used it to self-regulate their learning and keep track of what they'd completed. So that was from the both the summer and semester 1 courses. So that's a quick overview of learning journeys from the student point of view. I'm just going to now show it to you from, and my Zoom bar is in the way, of course. I'm going to show it to you from a staff point of view. So I'm going to just go into that same course as a staff member, and you can see how the progress tracking works for a staff member. So for example, I'm not really sure what's happened there. We'll just refresh that. I can actually check the progress at a learning module, a document, as well as for individual students. And here it comes. Yeah, I'm not sure why it's doing that. It's gone off my screen. Anyway, there's 3 dots, and I can check off the student progress at an individual level, and I can also for all right, I'm not sure why it's doing that, but basically you can something with my screen, I think. Anyway, also, so basically you've got an option to check the progress, and you can see whether students have opened an item, whether they've completed it, and you can easily search for content they haven't completed. If I go to the gradebook, for example, I can actually search for a particular student. So say myself, my student account, and I can, in this option, also see what I've accessed, what a particular student has accessed. So for example, I can click on, I can see my marks. I can also click on progress, and I can see what I've opened or haven't opened, and what I've started. So that's quite useful. So that's looking at the functionality for learning journeys. The next thing I'm going to show you is Ultra tests. And Ultra tests have lots of new functionality, and I'll quickly show you a test from a student point of view. So this time I'm going to actually use the student preview. I'm going to need to sort this out. I might just hand to Nathan. I'll sort this out and then we'll come back. So I'll hand now to Nathan.
Thanks, Elsa. Hey everyone, I'm Nathan from the eLearning team. I'm going to take you through today some of the group functionality that's available in Ultra, in particular to do with the self-enroll groups, which is our most popular group functionality used in Original at the moment. So I'm going to show you the features that are available for students when they're self-enrolling into their groups. So when a student comes into a course and they need to go in and access their groups and enroll in a group for group work, they can come into the groups tab inside their course site. And what they'll be presented with is the available groups that are ready to be enrolled in. So here I can see that I've got a group presentation that I'll need to sign up to. I can see underneath here that the enrollment closes on Friday at 4 p.m. So the benefit that Ultra has with the self-enroll groups is that students can, once they add themselves to a group, they can also then move themselves between groups. So I can go in here and join into group 3 here. It will tell me that I've joined this group. But if I then accidentally think, oops, I was meant to join up with my friend that's in the group, a different group, I can go through, I can click on these groups to see who is in the group. So I know that Illyria here, that's my friend and I wanted to be in that group. So what I can do is I can actually go over and then click onto the move to this group button, and it will allow me to move myself to that group. So this is functionality that wasn't available inside original courses. Once a student joined a group, they were stuck in that group unless a instructor removed them from the group on their behalf. So that's something that's really great with the group functionality. And after the Friday at 4 p.m., the students will no longer be able to change groups or allocate themselves to groups either. So in terms of setting up these self-enroll groups, in the staff side, you go into the groups tab. Up the top here, we have a new group set option. So when you create the group set, we can give our group set a name. If you are going to be using the self-enroll groups, you do have to first make your groups available to students. So at the top here is a button that is by default hidden from students. So you just need to change it over to visible to students. Once you've changed it to visible to students, you can then select from the group students type. You can then select to make a self-enroll group. With the self-enroll groups, you can set your enrollment start and end dates. So this will allow you to set what date the students can start adding themselves to a group. So I can set that to a date and time. And then I can also set an enrollment end date. So this is the date at which the students will need to have added themselves to a group. So I can go through and set that. You also have the option here as to whether you auto-enroll any students that haven't signed up for a group once the enrollment period has ended, or whether you want the system to not allocate them. So this is a feature that has only just become available and was something that a lot of the participants in our semester 1 were not overly happy about, that it auto-assigned students. So it's great that we now have the ability to turn that off so that students don't get auto-assigned to groups once the enrollment period finishes. You can also select how many students will be allowed to sign up to each group as well. Once you've set your groups up, you just click on that save button and it will then create the group set there for you. Inside the group set, you can go in, you can see the groups, who's signed up. You can also go in and create additional groups just by clicking on the plus button to add in additional groups if required. The only thing you need to do is remember to hit that save button. with the groups, if you do want to set up a space for your students to have discussions with their groups, and you're not using a tool such as Microsoft Teams, you can easily go into the discussion area and create a group discussion board for your students. So I can go in and I can create a discussion board for my group. So you can come into the settings here and then assign it to a particular group set. So I can go through, select my presentation group set, and that will automatically set up a space where students can go in and have their own space where they can share content with their groups. So I'm going to pass back over to Elsa now. Hopefully her screen's working so that she can continue with her section.
Thanks, Nathan. So just sorted my screen out. So I'll just give you a quick demo of what I was saying with the student tracking. I can click here and get the information on the student progress for a learning module, and I can also do the same for a particular document, but I'll just show you on the learning module as a whole. So it's basically giving me information on who has opened or started and who's marked off items as complete. I can use the filter here, so I can find all the students who haven't opened an item, for example, and I could also search for a particular student as well. So that's really quite useful functionality. And to go back to showing you the test, so I'll show you the test from a student point of view using the student preview tool. So if I click on the student preview tool and I'll start looking at my course using the student preview tool, there's a formative assessment item that we can have a look at. And you can see the functionality available. So if I go into the introduction, for example, and I'll go into the quiz, and I'll start attempt 1. So this has been set up to allow multiple attempts and have a timer, but this is all up to you when you set up the test, what settings you choose. So I'm going to start the test. So basically I've got an academic integrity page. It's an individual page. I've also randomized the pages, and this one doesn't randomize, it always shows the first page. I can just then continue through. As you can see, there's a lot better functionality as far as images in this option. So I'll just quickly choose some options here. So that's a matching question. There's fill in the blanks question. I won't put the actual answers in, but you can type the answers in. And this is a number question, so it's checking a numeral value. The hotspot question, which we used to recommend you didn't use, is now improved, so you can use that as well. So it can mark where the Northern Territory is and the ACT. So you can have multiple hotspots on the same question. This is the stimulus question. So there's a YouTube video, there's some text, there's a text answer I could answer as well. And as you can see, it has multiple questions associated with the stimulus material. So that's the functionality that people have been asking for a long time in Blackboard Test that's now available. And I'll just submit. And there we go. So that was from, and you can see I can download my submission, and that's looking at the Blackboard Test from a student point of view. I'll just exit. I won't show you the full test setup, but it's very straightforward. So for example, if I wanted to add a test in, Can add it in wherever I want. Click on create. Choose that I want to test. Give it a name. I can easily add in like an academic pledge. So, i.e. the Academic Integrity Pledge. Just copy that in there. I can then maybe add a page break. On this page, I could add in a text box to add some more, like a stimulus material. I won't add it in, but I could add in a YouTube video, so I can search for that. I could do some more text that's relevant for this stimulus. I can then add in questions that go with that stimulus material. So I might create a very quick true-false question, for example. And you can see a lot less clicks in this version, a lot easier to set up, but the same functionality. And I might reuse a question, for example. And copy that question in. I've got a lot of settings. The settings are very similar to previous, but easier to access and easier workflows. One that's probably quite useful is that I can actually randomize the pages. So that's really good if you've got stimulus material. You have each sort of stimulus question on a different page. And I can choose not to randomize the first page, i.e. I could put an academic integrity page on that page. So there's lots of other functionality, but that's probably the main ones. And just quickly, I can also, with time test, give a particular student extra time across all time tests in one go. So if you go to Gradebook, find a student, and for that student, choose accommodations. And for all timed assessment, I could give them 10% extra time. So it's quite easy to do. So I'll wrap up my demonstration of Ultra functionality, and I'll now hand to Tanya.
Thank you, Elsa. Just go back. All right. Well, just very briefly, speaking about our team and the functionality responsibilities is basically managing the university central e-learning services and tools, provide support and professional development to assist staff in their use of the educational technology. So you can easily find us and the services available from our website, elearning.uq.edu. I'm just posting in the chat, or simply as anything, you just Google it, elearning.uq, or just simply eLearning UQ. So I'll start very quickly with our e-learning help desk. It is a dedicated team that takes care of any technical issues that you might have with central e-learning tools. And the best way to contact our help desk is via email. And if your matter is urgent, you can actually put the word urgent in the subject line to ensure that you get a response within an hour in most of cases. So our team also offer a very wide range of the e-learning professional development workshops to support staff in the way they would prefer to learn. So those workshops are self-paced, central, custom, so it's all very much self-explanatory. Just want to make a note on the custom one. That's where we actually organize and run a workshop for your particular school or even just your course. So staff can just contact us via email, elearningadvisors@uq.edu.au. And if you are after one-on-one assistance, we also offer advisors consultations. These are 1.5 hour long personalized consultations on using e-learning tools, including selecting and implementing. So we're helping you to implement and set up in your course. So you can easily book a consultation through our website. And I'll just quickly show you on my screen. So very easy and simple way to get around to either register for workshop, a personal consultation, or request the technical support, which will lodge that email to our help desk. So our team also create a range of guides, so UQ tools guides for all staff and students. So these guides provide step-by-step navigation across all platforms and applications that are currently used within UQ teaching, and very easily accessible through our website that I just shown you. And there is also some services available from the Institute and wider teams. So teaching and learning services support available by requesting via sending the email or just making online booking with some of the learning designers. So the next slide, we just want to remind you that upcoming sessions within this very much valuable Ready to Teach week. So a bunch of very good sessions coming up. So make sure you register for them. And also the Ready to Tutor Not Far Away. Please feel free to promote these sessions within your faculties and maybe your new tutors starting soon. And we now move to the Q&A part of our session. Please feel free to unmute yourself or just type your question in the chat, and one of us will do the best to answer them all.
I might go first and answer a question from Ben Ross. Tanya?
Sure.
So he's asked, have you had any negative feedback from students or staff about Ultra and how you're addressing it? So I might just quickly start with students, and I might hand over to Nathan for staff. So the feedback we've just started analysing the feedback from the student survey, but the main positive feedback is they like the self-regulated aspect of the student tracking and being able to tick off items. We've got a lot of positive feedback. And a lot of students, interestingly, said they liked weekly folders. But weekly folders have actually been in the template since 2016, so that was quite interesting. So the negative feedback we've got from students is it was very bimodal. A lot of students, some of they hated weekly folders, and they hated changing how the course was organised at the end of their degree. So they'd previously had their courses organised by content type. So that was quite interesting, very bimodal. We got a lot of feedback that their students really liked the interface. It was clean, it was modern, it was intuitive. And then we got the opposite feedback as well, that there was too much white space, there was too much scrolling. So how are we addressing this? And also they didn't like that you couldn't open the PDFs in a tab. So we don't think being able to open a PDF in a tab will actually be implemented, because I think it's part of accessibility, but we have changed the recommendations on how the PDFs are added to the course. So they're not added into a text editor, so they can be shown full screen and easily sort of downloaded, etc. So that's one thing, the change in recommendations. As far as the scrolling, we can ask Ultra for new functionality. So we're sort of pushing for the icons to be smaller, an option to make the icons smaller to reduce the scrolling. And the other thing we're recommending is, especially with large courses, is staff consider having the folders in reverse order. So i.e. the current folder is at the top. So that's sort of how we're addressing that. A bit of change management, a bit of asking for functionality and from the vendor. And also we're getting a lot of new functionality from the vendor. I know with Original we haven't really seen any change, but they are actually responding to customer feedback with Ultra a lot quicker. And I'll turn to Nathan. What about staff?
So predominantly with the staff, most of them found the platform to be easy to use. There's little things that are different to original courses, obviously, that require change change management to go through with staff to make sure that they understand how to do things within Ultra. With areas that staff have encountered issues with, obviously we can report that to the vendor and make suggestions to them for improved functionality. So we're pretty lucky that functionality is constantly being improved with the system. So throughout semester one, some of the issues that staff had, like with the groups, that functionality has now since been improved, where you don't have to auto assign students to groups after the enrollment finishes. So with issues as they come up with staff, we can report those to the vendor so that improvements can be made to the system. And because we get updates each month to Ultra, those improvements will come into the system over time, which is really good. And it's something that we just don't have in our current original platform. So yeah, but if staff have issues, we obviously encourage them to contact us and let us know about them so that we can either come up with workarounds or we can report it to the vendor as areas of concern.
I've got a question from Chris Frost, and he's asking, the area where the report students who did not access content, can we contact those students who have not been engaging? So I did check this. There is an email button there, but it's actually not picking up the students from the filter. So I assume that the email button's there. That functionality must be coming, but that's a really good point. I thought that was a sort of something that was missing. So that's something we'll feed back to the vendor.